IG of police.
The chief security
of the state. I mean, how do you want that state to function? And so these are the things we are, when you say restructuring, these are the things about restructuring. When you say fearless, these are the things you stand bold to say, these things are not working, we need to change the equation.
On the flip side, if the states are given that kind of power, don't you think that kind of absolute power would propel absolute corruption for the part of governance in the
Might
country?
be, but we're not there yet. Almost all the successful countries I know in the world, Switzerland, Germany, United States, and so many other countries, they run a federation, a true federation. And in these two federations, also the security agitator is also included. If those countries are doing better, why are we so scared that and yes, of course we have our teaching problems, so why not? The bottlenecks are going to be there, but at the end of the day, I think honestly speaking, they said somebody who is already on the ground, why are you still fearing of falling down? Nigeria is currently on the ground, so what else, what are we scared of? We should try something different. What we have now is, this union we have now is not working. We should look at other things and say that if it's going to work.
All right. Honorable, you are the National Deputy Chairman, Diaspora Engagement. Do you see diaspora playing any role in driving the economic growth and development in Nigeria?
Wow, I like that topic. Thank you for that question. And before 2013, 2013, 14, 15, and 16, and 17, the remittances of Nigerians in diaspora are over $60 billion US. And according to PricewaterhouseCoopers and according to the International Monetary Fund, without that remittances from diaspora, Nigeria would have gotten bankrupt. That's the statistics. So that answers your question. And that is why both economic and medical intervention of the diaspora has sustained this country. Statistics have shown that in Nigeria, I think out of every 10 families, 7 of them are in diaspora. And because of the remittance they are having, that's why they can support bills like school fees, electricity. And those families, according to statistics, are doing better than the other families who are not having a. Well, that's number one. The current electronic voting that you have in Nigeria was actually spearheaded by the diaspora. Personally, I was involved in meeting INEC. I was involved in making presidential and national assembly, where we have to make a case for diaspora voting. We are informed that diaspora voting can only take place if we have electronic voting, and therefore we need to have an amendment of the Constitution. And so, unfortunately, after the amendment of the Constitution, the diaspora voting was voted down, but electronic voting was passed. That's why we had the so-called electronic voting that we have thought would have made a difference in the national election. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So yes, diaspora has been very, very active over the years, and thank God to President Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, for initiating the diaspora engagement philosophy called the NIDO Organizations and Diaspora Engagement. So yes, diaspora can play a very important role, and they've been playing that, and they will still continue to play that, in as much as we've been denied the opportunity to vote. They see us as a cash cow of the nation, where we have to pay for our passport, we have to pay for NIN, we have to pay for everything, but we're not allowed to vote. And I hope this government, fearless, according to my very good friend, will be bold enough to say it's time to vote. And then, so we're hoping that that will help in also pushing.
For the record, I said seemingly fearless.
Seemingly fearless. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I correct myself. Seemingly fearless.
Now, how has the high borrowing cost and rising debts hindered Nigeria's ability to finance its development agenda? I'll just take you through something. Nigeria recently spent as much as 2.34 trillion naira in 6 months to service a humongous public debt that is currently in excess of 107 trillion naira that she started with. That is why the country's national budget of 27.5 trillion naira for 2024 has nearly half of it appropriated for settling the nation's outstanding debt, which is composed of local and international debt stock. What are your thoughts about how we keep borrowing money in Nigeria? Do you think that affects the country? I've heard some people say, well, big countries borrow money too. I've heard some people say they borrow and it's too much. We should stop at some point. What is your one thought about it?
Again, my apology, I'm not an economist.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't want to be well-laid and, that but there are certain things that are very basic. Yeah. We've been crying under Buhari. As a matter of fact, we've been crying under Okowa, the former governor of the state, when they go on borrowing extravaganza. And we said, it's going to negatively affect the economy, because at the end of the day, you use a huge part of the budget to service debt, and leaving you little to for investment. And what I do here in our policymakers, which is very, very appalling, that are being mischievous, or they are basically they lack the knowledge, or both. When I hear say America is a big country, they borrow, Germany is a big country, they borrow. Have you actually also compared the GDP of that country and the capital income of that country? Have you actually thought about that? Have you actually thought about the electricity in that country that it runs 24/7 without stop? Have you talked about the roads and the railways that they have 24/7 services? No. We always like to compare oranges and apple when it suits us. And no, yes, borrowing, like you elegantly summarized, borrowing means that you have most of your budget to service the debt. You're not generating, and so you're piling up debt for the generation to come, and they are struggling to repay that, and it keeps getting worse. We should focus on on manufacturing. We should focus on export, and we should limit our borrowing. Anybody who is telling you that big nations borrow, because of that we can continue to borrow, to do what? To service their lifestyles. I mean, I keep saying that when I see government saying we are subsidizing, pilgrimage, whether it's Christian pilgrimage or Hajj, with XYZ, thousands of billions of naira, and I ask myself, what are those countries? What are those states generating? What is the total generation, the revenue generation of that state? And so anybody who is telling you that we are going to borrow to quench the appetite of our political class that's going to have about 17 entourage in his car, in his entourage, cars in his entourage just to visit XYZ, when our governors will fly public money, fly public jet to go and say good afternoon to Mr. President because it's Hajj time. And you asked me where this money coming from. It's not from borrowing. So they are borrowing to have their lifestyle, not to help the economy.
How would you react to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, knowing full well that some people argue they indulge Nigeria into borrowings? They keep giving the country money. So you ask for money, they give, they grant those loans, without checking the accountability of the monies borrowed. Do you think there is something, maybe a controversial theory that might mean that the IMF is somehow sponsoring the corruption of Nigeria for their own good?
I will not doubt that. I will leverage, again, like I said, I'm not an economist, but I will leverage on the experience of, again, two governors, Adam Oshomole, who is a member of the ruling party, also in the debate to clear the central bank governor. He was saying that he does not trust the IMF. That any country telling you to develop, to leave your market rate, at floating rate for the economy to decide that, it's not being sincere with the country. The same thing with Obaseki also, the governor of those states, who is also a renowned banker. He said he does not believe with the IMF meant well for Nigeria when he said that we should keep borrowing and do that. So I will key on those two, experienced Nigerians who said, yes, I think I agree with them. And you can't just keep, you just can't keep devaluing. I mean, in Germany, where I've been for the past 28 years, they support agriculture. Certain corporations or utility companies are being regulated by the government. They have a lot of shares where they have the deciding factors, indirectly, saying what should be increased, how much should be done, and the rest of them. They have a very powerful trade union that they cannot just stand one day and increase things with that. But here we don't have, these things are not operational. So no, allowing IMF to have their way, the current way we're having in Nigeria. We can go on from now to tomorrow, where they have to regulate the oil company, where they Shell have to sell part of its holdings, and at the end of the day, the person who is buying those shareholdings is somebody who is related to the president, to Mr. President. And so you ask, are those regulations done in good faith, or are they done to to satisfy certain set of people? That's why at the end of the day, economic here, economic there, reform here, reform there, until we begin to feel the impact, of the economy on the common man, until we begin to see the price of goods coming down, until we begin to see that the pensioners will get their pensions when it's due, then I still think that we're doing a voodoo economy.
Okay. Earlier, when I asked you what are the strengths of this country, you said Nigeria has a human capital. What are the opportunities and challenges associated with harnessing Nigerians' human capital to drive economic growth and innovation?
Well, we mentioned the youth of every country are the the backbone of the economy. Private economy drives the economy of every country, both in Germany or United States. So you have to empower the middle class, the private. Have to create a loan to help the small scale businesses. You have to have a youth empowerment project, not the one they do here, to use a wheelbarrow to empower the youth. You have to have a capacity building on that. You have to have a friendly that a graduate can walk out from the school, go into the bank with one or no godfathers to be able to to secure a loan and be able to have a way of paying back those loans. These are the if you do that, you mobilize the youth, you empower them, and they begin to explore. But most importantly, the basic infrastructure has to be there. Light has to be there. Our minister, rather than talking about offering the freezer, you should be thinking about how do we have an energy mix in Nigeria that will have the renewable energy, that will have, apart from that, how do we bring down the cost of the energy so that the young graduates who want to have small scale businesses can be able to afford without running a generation 24/7. These are the things we need to put into the economy to make it grow.
Okay.
All right, now let's now talk about public and civil servants, because people say all hands should be on deck to make Nigeria work. So for the benefit of that, what is the role of public and civil servants towards saving the country's economy?
Well, the truth is that the civil servants are the technocrats that help to build or main every country. As a matter of fact, we blame the politicians for being corrupt. Yes, they are, especially Nigerian politicians. But without civil servants, without the permanent secretaries, without the clerks, and they won't be able to steal or to hide money. So they are also part of them. So, but again, I wouldn't be an expert to prefer solution to how that should be solved. But I believe that if we have true federalism, where each state, have to decide what is good for itself, they could be able to prune down the number of the civil servants in each state. They should be able to, optimize the relevance of the civil servants. They should be able to be productive oriented, not only to carry file from one desk to the other. They have to come up with policies and make sure they implement the policies of the states at the end of this, that we can generate resources for the state. And so the civil servants should be repositioned to meet the civil servants of the 21st century, where they have to be productive, where they have to be forward thinking, rather than just carrying files and pushing files here and there.
How can Nigeria ensure sustainable economic growth while also addressing environmental concerns and promoting social equity?
That's a tall order. Again, have a good economic team that are in sync with the best international policies. Build confidence in the people. But most importantly, sustainable development. We have the SDG goals.
Yes.
The SDG goals are well spelled out. If we have the ministers, we have the head of agencies that are in tune with the SDG goals and the African Union goals, they should be able to implement those SDG goals. We have the African Free Trade. Unfortunately, in all the economic discussion I'm hearing about this economic team, they have not had any single policies. What's Nigerian policy towards the African Free Trade Zone? Nigeria can trade with the African country within the African continent and make 10 times the amount they are making trading internationally. I don't see any clear-cut policies on that. So we need to harness all these instruments available to us to be able to expand our economy.
Okay. Earlier I spoke about Dangote Refinery and Air Peace and the feat they achieved, although you were talking about how it translated to the common man, but somehow they achieved those feat. And I think people who take flights to UK can do that successfully and cheaper. People have now said that privatization seems to be the way forward for Nigeria. Do you agree with this?
Yes and no. There should be companies or institutions that need to be privatized, and so to say. but that should not be all. It should be, one should have to look at the critical infrastructure, infrastructures we have, and see exactly which one could be privatized. For instance, the electricity need to be privatized as far back as yesterday. People should be able to, generate electricity. So they should be able to do that. Again, like I said congratulations to Airpeace and to Dangote. They are making us proud. They are doing the right thing. But I don't want this administration. I don't want this government to use that as to brand the progress they have made because it does not translate to the common man until we begin to see the effect on that. So these are purely private, initiative, like you rightly said. And so yes, private equity seems to be working in Nigeria. Public-private partnership should be encouraged because it seems to be the way that has been working across the country, across the globe, and there's no reason why we should not experiment that here.
All right. Let's get your final message to Nigerians, even the state, as regards reviving the nation's economy.
Well, I think to summarize everything we have said, Nigeria needs to be restructured. Nigeria is a sick nation. We are just administering pills and tablets just to keep us going. I think just yesterday, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, our former president, said that it is time to restructure this country. The African Development Bank, Adesina, said, okay, it's time we have United States of Nigeria. So I joined those prominent Nigerians to say it's time we restructure this country. If we need to get this country going, we need to get our priorities right, and we need to go into true federalism. I think that's the way forward, and I think the government should be fearless enough to embark on these reforms because that's the way to go.
Fearless. I'll take that as our final word this morning, knowing full well what you mean by fearless. Daring policies that could down situations and create greater good for our nation. Thank you.
welcome to another edition of X Trend. I'm your host and X girl, and I have this morning and that X girl beside me here. My name is Tega Roje, and this is
Patience Ikere Ariko.
Good morning. Good morning, Blessing. Good morning, Francis.
Hey, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Tega.
Good morning. And we are the X-Men.
So this morning we're going to be talking about the biggest trends on X for this week with Blessing and Francis.
Good to be here with you.
Good to be
We
here.
can't wait to see you unleash your venom and stories on us.
I actually
Yes.
wanted to put Francis in the middle seat because it's girl power this morning, but don't worry,
Yeah.
stay there.
I
You will still receive stray bullets
like
if
to
you, if
be
you
on the
try
pos-
to play
I
devil's
like
advocate this
to
morning.
take the positives. I say blessed am I amongst women.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'll take
That's
the
very
positives.
interesting. Okay, so let's quickly dive into our trends for this week. So our first trend is hashtag Prison Break. And Prison Break was trending because lovers of the American series came out to say that the show is now viewing on the streaming platform Netflix. And people were very excited about it. People were even saying that they should even bring out a new season just to revive the show.
Well, one of the stories that I deliberately did not see back then because I have this bad behavior of not joining the bandwagon. So when I see everybody talking about Prison Break, I didn't see. But it was a great series from everything I gathered.
Yeah.
And I know that many Nigerians are looking for what they call an encore. They want to see it again or see another version made on that series. But the beautiful thing about movies and the movie industry is when they can do more than just what we have seen before.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big
Yes.
fan of you have to bring it back all over. You have to make another forced season of the
Episode.
movie. I don't think it's always apt. Most times, just let it go. It's not as classic. Let it be classic. Don't try to dent that name of the classic. Just let it go. If
Yeah.
there is no concept, no storyline to meet up to what was done before, then let it go.
I beg to disagree. I did not have the opportunity to see that movie when it was everywhere.
Yes.
So now that it's on Netflix, I can access it and I would see that movie and whatever Francis thinks about movies that are always trending, because he has this thing about not seeing any movie that is so top that's
So
everywhere.
top-rated.
Everybody's
Yeah.
talking about it. Francis doesn't like to say it
Yes,
because
I-
it's Francis,
Yeah.
but I will
Yeah.
see the
Yeah,
movie.
Fair enough.
It's just
Yeah,
my
that's fair.
bad behavior.
Okay, so let's move on to our next trend, hashtag Sterling Bank. So Sterling Bank obviously is trending for another reason why Nigerian banks have been trending over the past few weeks. Sterling Bank have been having issues with their network since last week Sunday, since the 1st of September. And people have been coming out to complain on X saying that they need to do something, and Sterling Bank officially brought a statement apologizing to their customers, saying that they are currently concluding a system upgrade to improve the experience on all their platforms. So I think a lot needs to be said about this Sterling Bank issue, because it's a recurring issue that we're talking about for the past few weeks.
It's not recurring with all banks in Nigeria. That you have money and you can't spend it. That you go
Yes.
to the supermarket to purchase goods or services and you can't pay with your ATM card. You can't even do transfer, and you get frustrated. You get tired. This is just a bigger picture of what Nigerians go through on a daily, without no explanation. Even up to this moment, I'm not hearing anything from the authorities saying we are going to hold Sterling Bank on this ground. They're supposed to settle of the aggrieved customers and the rest of them. It's just silence all through. As Sterling Bank are the ones apologizing according to their own terms. And that makes it very funny. If I'm the one wronging you, I should not be the one saying how I should apologize to you, because people have lost businesses. And mind you, that the Nigerian system, I'm not saying government, the entire Nigerian system, those are the helm of affairs, should understand that Nigerians are very unhappy people who are pretentious on pictures only. But any little thing that would just frustrate their feelings, their mood at the time, they will vent the anger, and they would even insult the entire government. So it's very important that actions are taken against banks like this, Aaron, it's not just Sterling Bank. It's all the banks in the Federal Republic of Nigeria having these issues all the time, either at a very minor level or at a very major scale. Yes, well and good, Sterling Bank said they sent messages to let their customers know that they would not be able to get their own money. How can you let me know that I cannot be able to go to the convenience when I'm pressed? So what do? Do I defecate and soil the street? Do I die right there because I'm pressed? If I need money, I should get money. You should not be apologizing to me that I cannot pay my daughter's hospital bills. You can't be apologizing to me on that ground. So banking business It's a very serious business. It might even be arguably more serious than hospital business because most hospitals will tell you, like in the Nollywood movies, that this is not a charity organization. You have to pay money. People might lose lives out of these. And I'm calling on Nigerians that it's high time we stopped just complaining. It's high time we started taking actions. We started going to court. It's very important that we, institute legal actions against every groups, organizations that causes us great inconvenience. Because I see inconvenience, the opposite of inconvenience as convenience. If you can't get to convenience, you know what that means when you're oppressed? That could destroy the rest of your day. So very importantly, those who have very strong reasons, perhaps that have gone through serious pain from this particular situation, should institute legal actions against Sterling Bank and let the banks learn a lesson a little bit and serve us well.
I agree with what everything Francis has said, except the issue of going to the courts. If you go to the courts, do you know how long it will take for you to get justice?
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah, so if I agree with everything you said, except that part. We're in a country where things don't work the way it ought to work. If you're talking about people in the US, in the UK, going to court, then I can say, okay, fine, that's the thing to do because you will get justice. Your case will be heard and you will get justice almost immediately. But here in Nigeria, forget about it. You just waste more money to hire a lawyer and then waste money in courts. For this issue with Sterling Bank, we have poor customer service in Nigeria, not just about the banking system, every other sector, very poor customer service, and this has been lingering for days. If they had plans to upgrade their system, like they said, is the reasons why people have been getting debit alerts and not able to get their money, why didn't they inform the customers that we are about to upgrade our system? Send a message to them. They were about to do some maintenance, we're about to do some upgrading, so for some days, you won't be able to access your account, so that they can make provisions. Like Francis said, people may die because as a result of this. Imagine someone being taken to the hospital and maybe a family member is trying to get money and they can't access their money. And you know how hospitals they act. They won't attend to that person until the person pays. So why don't they inform your customers that you're going to experience difficulty in your bank transactions for a few days because we're about to do some upgrading? But it's really, really sad. And it's not just about Sterling banks. Other banks as well, we've seen issues like this, and they have to wait until Nigerians come on X or any other social media platform to drag them before they start apologizing. It's really, really sad.
It has even gotten better because before X, that's Twitter, you would complain and complain. Nobody.
You keep going to the bank every day.
But now when they see a mention that that will cause embarrassment, they react to it. Even the Nigerian police now. So a good thing for X.
They don't have media,
but still going back to the court issue, I would say that what else do you do? Do we keep our mouths shut?
What else do Nigerians do? Nigerians wait. That's what we do. We wait
until
the issue is resolved.
What else do we do?
We wait.
Do we keep our mouths shut? We wait. Do we keep waiting? The truth is that you can wait while instituting a legal claim, and it might take centuries, yes. But eventually, the Nigerian legal system has shown that yes, justice delayed might still be accessed later on.
We must have spent a lot of money.
You get your damages. And that's what the lawyers are fighting for. If I spend 10 years and using money over and over again, I would put the monies in, I would calculate the money, the time spent, money spent, everything, and the problem.
So should it be an individual petition or a joint
I was going there. Individuals could do that. And then SERAP. You should not always be talking about the government, social accountability. Go for these things like this. Go for things like this. You have the strength, the might to go for things like this. Go for things like this. Since most times SERAP has, I don't want to say failed, has roared at the presidency, roared at the Federal Republic of Nigeria government, but actions have not been taken in their favor. They should start going for the ones they can defeat. I mean, if you're a fighter and Mike Tyson has defeated you, Muhammad Ali has defeated you, you go for lightweight champion and win somewhere.
Let's move
so they should
on
go for something lower.
So the next trend is #Ashakain. Ashakain has been trending for the past few days. He stormed the city of Ekpe, where he met some group of women and then decided to gift them rice, some of them money as usual. But what got people talking on X was when he gifted a woman 110,000 naira, and the reaction of the woman felt like she was ungrateful. So many persons were saying that the woman was not grateful or because of her reaction, and some persons were saying maybe she was just overwhelmed and probably the 110,000 will not be enough for her. So that's basically the reaction. So what would you say?
Well, if somebody is doing a charitable gesture, they should do a charitable gesture,
Yeah.
and you should not interfere in that charitable gesture.
I
Except, of course, you know that
Okay.
the money was gotten through illicit means. If I want to give
Yes.
somebody 500,000, 10 naira, whatever, it's my money. I'm the one doing it, so let me be.
No, they're talking about the reaction of the woman. I did not follow this trend, so I don't know.
Can we please
What was
let's
her
watch
reaction
the video.
like?
Let's
Yeah.
watch
Can we
the
please watch
video.
the video?
So, Mama, pick a number from 1 to 100.
1 to 100.
Yeah.
60.
Pick a number from 1 to 100.
50.
Alright. Give me a second, I'm coming. 50 plus 60 is 110. Here's the 110,000 naira for you. Are these your children?
Okay.
So that was the video.
Good to have seen the video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to see what her reaction was because when you said people were like she was not appreciative or the money was not enough for her. She was just not expecting it. You know, he started by asking her
Yeah.
to pick a number, the son, and
Yeah.
it's not everybody that screams and jumps and starts crying and starts being
Exactly.
Well, if
dramatic.
Nigerians know what I do when I'm quite excited, because most times I've had my partner, my wife, complain. You don't show excitement. You just saw me. I returned after a long time and just staring at me, and that's what I do. That's what my father does. That's what my father's father probably did. We don't show that kind of excitement. We just stare, and I might be the most quiet person at the biggest excitement. That's how I react to things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes even when you think I'm excited, I'm just trying to give you an act to suit your ego.
Okay.
So we should not be concerned about how people react to things.
And
like
Nigerians
this.
should stop talking. And this is what we get when you go to do charity and you take your camera alongside with you because people will always stop. People will always have something to say.
Blessing,
Yes.
content
Yeah.
creation is a real thing. He gives 100,000 naira
So
and he
Nigerians
makes
should
1
stop
million
talking about
naira for
everything.
content
Yeah.
creation.
Yeah.
This thing.
Nigerians must say something.
Basically, if you want to carry a camera to do charitable things, carry your camera by all means.
No,
But Nigerians
I would
learn
agree.
to stay away from other people's charitable gestures because
Yeah.
people do charity now for business
For
purpose.
business purpose.
And I appreciate that because it's some way of making the money
Make
go
money,
round.
yeah.
Somehow the Nigerian government is failing us. It looks like social media is aiding us in terms of finance. People are going into social media. There are many people who have been into internet fraud, but they had to go into content creation, and they can be giving money. Like I'm not speaking about a man precisely. They can do things like this just to get attention, to get clout. Well, if that's all right for them, then it's fine. But we should allow people to do what they want to do without pop nosing and trying to tell them how to do their
Yeah.
kind gestures or
Okay,
even try to
so
define what they
now
want.
let's move on to our major trends. The trends actually got put talking. So our first trend is hashtag Miss Quora. For the past 2 weeks, we're talking about Miss Universe Nigeria and the whole competition. And then this Sunday that just passed was the actual competition, which was showing on Silverbird. So people actually came out to say that, that Nigerians didn't support our own. We just wanted Chidima Adesina to win, but she eventually won, representing Tara State. And South Africans, of course, like there's just this unrelenting force. South Africans came out and said that, we didn't want Miss Quora to reign because of we're not inclusive, we body shamed her. And South Africans were basically saying that, we just want someone that maybe is slim or someone who is more attractive to be there as the winner. So South Africans came out, and let's even read it to itself so we can get like a better perception. So South Africans came out and said that all eyes were on Nigeria. They had a chance to make history and change stereotype, but as usual, they disappointed us. Miss Quora, you will always be our queen. Hashtag Miss Universe Nigeria. And that person said, we all know Nigerians suffer from deep-rooted sense of self-hate, as seen from their obsession with skin bleaching. Miss Quora embodies self-acceptance and confidence. Their country needs this type of positive self-image. Their knuckles scare us. Someone else came out and said, Chidima won, thank you, South Africa, for contributing to the Nigeria economy by voting for Ms. Kwara. We appreciate this kind gesture. Truly, your support embodies the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because we are. May this spirit continue to unite Africa as one. And someone else said, xenophobia, South Africans bullied her out, flying out to Nigeria and voted massively for Ms. Kwara, so she won't win. Well, she has won. Thank you for contributing to our economy. Congratulations, Chidima Adeshina. You are a beauty. So, as you can see, Nigerians that actually commented on this trend actually spoke with so much love, thanking South Africans for actually contributing to our economy as a country, for coming out and actually watching our Miss Universe pageants. So that's how we blessing on this one.
Pettiness will injure South Africans. They are too petty, and I just don't know what the problem is with Nigeria. I didn't follow the pageantry, but when I heard that Chidima won the contest, I said, well, she must have been very good to have threatened other contestants in South Africa, for South Africans to come out to, begin to, criticize her and not want her to win. It meant that even if she had gone through that pageantry in South Africa, she may have won as well. Then she came to Nigeria. Nigerians were talking about how she was given special treatment. Yes, free entry, special treatment that she joined it. Well, I'm not going to go into all of that. Miss Kwara, beautiful lady. She's not the only lady who lost. So why is that a big problem? I don't see any issue here. In fact, there's no issue here for me to talk about. Chidima won and she has won. Miss Kwara is beautiful and she will always be beautiful. We appreciate her as well. Chidima is one of us. She's a Nigerian. Miss Kwara they are both Nigerians.
Yes, there's no comparison.
Well, Miss Universe South Africa had Mia Leroy, or the Rocks, I'm trying to get a pronunciation, winning that competition. She's more or less white, a white South African, and she is not class. So talking about size being a factor, South Africans should have first given a plus-sized person Miss Universe South Africa. And then to Nigeria. South Africans did that to spite the whole concept, and it's pettiness for their part. Now, in all appreciation to Miss Kwara, Ufa Daniels, that's her name, right? We appreciate her. Plus-sized, relatable, sweet, charming lady, and it was a good thing. And she's the first ever plus-sized person to be in that competition, so that's a big plus to her.
Yeah.
However, we should not, because she's the first person to be in that category or to be in that pattern, we should not, by so doing, give her the title automatically. There were other Nigerians who were concerned about Chidima winning the competition. I saw a very popular Twitter, I've forgotten the man's name, I think that was Daniel Rega, talking about the fact that how can she have won just because she came out from controversy from South Africa. All those notwithstanding, the competition has come and it has gone. For Ufa Daniels, Miss Kwara, I want her to stop with the whole concept of screaming, South Africans, here I come, please come take me, because nobody loves you more than your own.
Exactly.
In a family where you're having issues and your neighbor you're having a fight with your brother, and your neighbor who has a fight with your brother calls you and says, come and eat cocoyam, you shouldn't go to eat that cocoyam in their house. That might just be poison, or that might be used to spite your entire family and eventually destroy your entire family. So for Ufa Daniels, embrace Nigeria. Take advantage of this particular attention and go straight to social media and gather your attention. But do not by any means think that you are closer to South Africans who did not give a plus-sized lady a chance in their country, who did not look at inclusivity by letting someone of Nigerian descent win a competition in their country. So they cannot be preaching to Nigerians something that they don't understand the sermon not. They shouldn't. They should keep their mouths absolutely shut. And this pettiness they want to play, I just feel bad for them, because Nigeria has more unemployed people who are well educated.
Don't do that to us. No, Francis, don't do that to
but
us.
in fact, we are,
if I go on X and I see South Africa,
let me finish this. Let me finish this statement.
Throwing bans and trying to be petty. And I have a job, and I know how to write a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
I will.
What Francis actually said.
What I'm saying is, I'm saying Nigeria, we have more unemployed graduates.
I know.
We have more unemployed graduates in Nigeria.
Our population too is incomparable.
We are looking for jobs, just like Glenn is saying.
Exactly.
And South Africans, when they are done with their university, their colleges, they get good jobs that keeps them busy. I'm talking about real graduates looking for things.
Obviously, education has
They are
not,
going to get
has
it very
not done
fast.
any good for South Africa. If they see
Mentally,
this on X, their education and whatever they have going on well for them has not done any good for them, because I don't see why a country would just be hell bent on being petty and just attacking another country. They should just leave us
I wouldn't
alone.
blame.
They
I
know.
also would not blame South
I
Africa.
think they are bitter losers. You just know that.
Wait, why would
each
you
time
blame
they
them?
fight,
Always
also
blame them.
always win.
I don't even blame South Africa most of the time
Why?
because we are supposedly the giant of Africa, and Vector, the Viper, put it properly. He said Nigeria is no longer the giant of Africa. Nigerians are.
Yeah.
And once upon a time, when Nigeria was the giant of Africa, while Nigerians were also the giant of Africa, South Africa would not say a word.
The word, true.
Not even Ghanaians. No country in this continent would say a word to us. We were talking directly with the United States of America and China.
Francis, even if we
But now because we are
actually become
dependent
the
like
giant
this.
of Africa, I think whoever is petty is petty. I think even if we become the giant of Africa, I think South Africa will always have that thing.
You know, speaking
against
of
us.
this petty thing,
Yeah.
I even saw post on X where they were saying that they refused to give visa to Arasta and some Nigerians. I think they had a competition going on in South that some Nigerians needed to go for, and they didn't give them their visas immediately. That's like go through a long process. Arasta even had to cancel our show there because of this refusal of visa. So like people were commenting on that, saying that
So even if we're the
yes,
giant of Africa, I feel
they
we'll
need to
always
ban
be
them
petty
from
to
other
us.
countries the way they ban them from Sri Lanka. They need to ban them. They need to ban Nigeria. So like it's this pettiness is a
And it's
lot.
quite sad, you know. I wish that Africa would look beyond all these pettiness and competition, hideous competition, and be united. Because look at the strongest country in the world. The United States of America has many states coming together to be one country. That's the United States of America. But we cannot all come together to be the United States of Africa. But we can all come together and be stronger as a people. You know, the idea of fighting each other should end. The idea of saying we want to go to the Grammy and then we see Nigeria partnering against South Africa, Burna Boy, Arista against Tyler. We should stop all these jokes and look at our countries and look at our continent, knowing full well that we are one, both in complexion and both in our mindsets. You know, so the Europeans and the Asians will stop taking advantage of us. That's my last appeal.
Let's move on to our next trend.
The next trend is hashtag justice for Christiana. 300 level FUNAB student Idowu Christiana has been allegedly murdered by her friend who kidnapped her after he initially demanded for 3 million ransom from her family. This is a picture of Christiana, a student of FUNAB University, and she has been kidnapped by her friend. The friend did not only kidnap her, murdered her,
And buried
and buried her in
his
his house. So this story is really sad, coming from friends, friend betraying friend or friend killing a friend.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying that this whole thing happened in a short time and in his house. And notwithstanding, he also requested for a ransom from the
Yes.
parents. The parents were able to
Raise
pay up,
300K,
350,000 naira actually before they could make some other payments. So I would like to ask Blessing concerning this matter. Some persons on X-Trends were saying that the parents of the boy is supposed to be arrested alongside him because he buried the girl in their family house, like the house. So I'm like, that's true, but what do you have to say about it?
Okay, so the story about this guy is, I don't know. When I read about the story, I just said, how is it possible for a young guy? This guy's just 23 years
Yes.
old. 23 years old, and he has murdered his friend, murdered his own biological sister,
and his girlfriend.
murdered his girlfriend, and he's just 23. And then he murdered these three persons and buried them himself. It's, I don't know. I really don't know. When I watch movies and I see people do some things like this, I always want to believe that it's not true. But reading about this is so heartbreaking. And Francis, what would you call this? Because I don't sure a mental disorder. What really is it? I don't really know. Really.
You know, I think let's read the tweets first so we can also get a perspective from Nigerians.
Okay. One of the tweets is saying, "This boy is a devil. he was
Yes,
still
he is.
chatting with her friends like he knew nothing about Christiana's kidnap.
Oh, please.
And then someone else said the perpetrator is currently in his 200 level, in his 20s. Murdered his sister in 2020, murdered his girlfriend in 2018, 6 years ago, like a teenager then, probably 15 years old. Today's rehabilitated child might be tomorrow's serial killer. Someone else said, this story shows that Nigerian police can work if they truly want to work. So shows how important BVN is because see how they're able to establish a connection between the account in the betting company and the Wema account. And that ex user said, a serial killer, or more, there might be so many like that in this country, but because of poor reporting and records and incompetent intelligence and investigation, we might never know. And then someone else said, I want Arasta. She said, stop killing us, stop raping us. Women deserve better. Hashtag justice for Christiana.
Thank you. First, I don't want to turn this into a man versus woman banter or battle, because when somebody says stop killing us, stop raping us, I think men also go through a lot too. So we should not get distracted. The biggest problem here is a crime was done on a human being. A life was taken, a soul was snatched from their parents, from their friends, from their loved ones. And many of us have spoken so vehemently against social injustice in Nigeria, saying that the level of the Nigerian economy has affected our security, thereby compelling people into criminality and all sorts of wrong practices. But this was not the case because this man is into a 200 level student. He's 23 years old, so he doesn't need that kind of money. He doesn't need 3 million naira. He doesn't need 350,000 naira. Matter of fact, he doesn't need 10,000 naira. All he needs to do is to read his book, pass his examinations, eat food and wear clothes. That's all he needs to do. Nothing else, nothing more. But somehow, he's demanding for money. Now, two things are in the picture. First, the fact that he's a serial killer, because from what I am hearing, what I'm calculating, I was doubting that particular thought because I was wondering how somebody who had done all these kind of crimes would still be in a university and be with normal, average thinking individuals who don't have psychological disorder. Now, killing, if you ask killers, and if you've spoken to some, if you've watched killers, the moment you have taken a life, you might have that impulse to keep taking more lives. It's just a very terrible thing to take a life.
Yeah.
So someone who has done that can do more. Now, the fact that this man who had done that before is in a university with people, this might just be one case we have seen.
I'm just wondering how
There might have even been more that have not been
the
seen.
girl? How did he keep her in the house? I don't know.
Yeah,
Where did he keep her?
there are many thoughts
How
to
did he
this.
keep her? How did he kill her? How did he bury her?
That guy
This
is
is
a
just too
psychopath.
much.
We might even find out that he might have done more cases than this. That's what I'm thinking
Yes.
about.
He
you know.
started killing at the age of 15.
So-
And then how did he kill his
Like, at the age
biological
of
sister without the
15.
parents even knowing? They did not.
That's why the parents, to me, I feel the parents need to be questioned too. They need
Yeah.
to be.
But I do not, while I do not support the parents being arrested,
Not
Like,
arrested,
I support them
but
being
Question,
questioned.
yes.
I support them being questioned because even the Bible says, a son shall not suffer for the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father suffer for the iniquity of the son. That was Ezekiel 18:20. So if we go Christian-wise, it's wrong to even do that. And most of the laws that we have in the world are mostly taken from the Christian belief. So the parents should be questioned, yes,
Yes.
so that people do not allow themselves to be deliberately or unintentionally aiders and abettors of criminalities or of that sort. But this is a big call on Nigerians. We should be very careful. And this is just one of those cases. Before you go see that girl or that guy, let people know. And it's not even trying to victim blame a deceased person because it's not your fault that you were killed.
Yes.
I would say that every other time. When I hear people, at least I'm glad I'm not hearing people saying that stupid care. I think we've gotten mature in the country. Once upon a time, some couple of years back, I'll be on this kind of set arguing that it's wrong to blame a victim. I've seen people being killed, and Nigerians.
How would he blame this girl in this
I'm
case?
coming, and Nigerians keep saying, waiting, carry and go man house, things like that. But we're not hearing things like that now. It means we are getting older. We're realizing that a crime is a crime, even if the girl. was saying, sorry about the technical glitch. I just have to apologize. I'm in charge here. I was saying that it's gone so far what the young man did, killing those who were close to him. And just when we had that little glitch, we had a couple of comments here about the fact that he kidnapped her, probably saw her face, and seeing her face means killing. Because that's what many kidnappers will do. Now, take note. Kidnappers are mostly people who you know. The informants are those who know you. So many of the times, if you are not careful, the one is not careful and they are kidnapped, the person just might get killed because you've seen the familiar face, the person doesn't want to reveal their image. So it's not about the monies given. It's about the fact that we should be very careful about kidnapping generally in the country. And of course, we need to improve on our social security so that those who are compelled to do all these criminalities via social injustice will not be indulging. But then this particular case is a psychotic case.
Yes.
And a case of bad records in the country, because this man has done it before and he's mixing up with normal people.
Yes.
He should be in a juvenile home,
No
matter of
record,
fact,
nothing.
being rehabilitated, in a particular kind of environment, not with.
Francis, see, talking about rehabilitation, I don't think this is a case of rehabilitation. This is a case of that guy should be arrested and
I'm talking about when he was 15 years old.
I'm glad that he's caught now. I'm glad that he was caught now because I don't even that rehabilitation thing. No, this person killed a human being. He should be killed.
Listen, I wish he was not even caught now. I wish he was stopped then. If he
I'm
was
saying.
held when he was 15 in a juvenile home, this lady would have not died today.
True.
Many other lives that we don't know about would have not been gone. Because I would say this, without any evidence, that I believe that there's a possibility that that man has killed more
I
people.
don't even know how to play. Like,
How would you kill your biological sister?
and then the parents just
That's what I'm still saying. Your
how you have a
parents.
child who's a murderer and you have no
Exactly.
idea.
You have no idea. I don't think
this
they do.
this
It's
case
just they cover
actually
it.
even brought out other things about like other cases about murder.
Yes.
Like it brought people talking about like Mohbad's case, and
Yeah.
people were even comparing Sam Larry to him, saying that probably Sam Larry is his mentor, or comparing who is worse, that kind of stuff.
Sam Larry, the
They
issue
should
with
let
Sam
Sam
Larry
Larry
and
go.
not didn't kill him per se.
There's no evidence on that
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
When,
This
when you
different.
when you go through this guy's Twitter handle, like you still see him over the years, still posting about rape scene. Like okay, there was one tweet where he said if he's going around like walking to his house and then he this particular guy tweeted a few months ago that he was going to his house. Sometimes when he's going to his house and then he sees a lady probably in a bar setting, he feels like to kidnap the person and rape her. And then I'm like, when I saw that tweet, I'm like, okay, so this is something you love and you enjoy doing over time, and it is really annoying and sad.
The guy's sick,
Mhm.
mentally sick.
Okay, so that also tells us that we should learn to report very creepy tweets and all that.
Yes.
And that tells the police, Ministry of Women Affairs, and any other group that looks at issues like this to become more careful and deliberate. When you see cases like this, take actions.
Okay, so let's move on to our next trend. Hashtag David Onday was trending after the police issued out a wanted for him because they declared him wanted by Nigeria police. And he even came out himself saying that getting hold of me is top priority for the Nigeria government than dealing with terrorists flaunting their ransom on social media platforms. So let's quickly go through some of these tweets. So someone said, David Onday wanted by the police. Abba, I mean there are actual bandits and terrorists out there on a kidnapping spree. I have never heard them being wanted. Someone else said, according to NPF, David Onday is now a wanted dangerous criminal. More dangerous than the bandits daily partying living on TikTok with ransom money. Incredible. Someone else said, we need more of this guy, David Onday and Sowore, to stand against the tyranny and oppression in this country. Enough is enough. another excuser said, apparently, actually, he actually tweeted this by himself. Apparently, David Onde is now a wanted criminal suspect in Nigeria. What crime did this dangerous criminal commit? Journalism. It was journalism. He did journalism. And someone else commented, journalism has become a crime in Nigeria. To the corrupt people in government, we shall allow them do as they want, steal as they want, and kill as they want. So this issue has been going on for a while, especially after the arrest of Pidom. And David Ode even came out on live TV during an interview and said that he made some phone calls to Pidom, and when Pidom was telling about how they tried to actually poison him, 2 attempts on his life in prison there. One, he said the first one wasn't successful, and then the second one, someone actually injected something into his cell, and since then he hasn't been able to breathe properly. And David Ode said that he was quoting him, in particular, everything that he said. He was able to talk to Pidom on the phone through his lawyer. He was quoting him there live on live TV. So like, the Nigeria police force, like, first, what do you have to say to them?
Well, interestingly, tomorrow is a very special day for the police. Tomorrow is the day of police cooperation. So, happy day of police cooperation to the Nigerian police force. And we should be cooperating with the police, but should the police not cooperate with us, journalists? Are we not partners in progress? And what's the problem about this whole situation about, is it Pidom you talked about?
Yeah.
Because Pidom is a let me just put it this way. So whistleblowing policy in Nigeria is an anti-corruption program that encourages people to voluntarily disclose information about fraud, bribery, looted government funds, financial misconduct, government assets, and any other form of corruption or theft to the Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Finance. Anything that concerns our money, they have to. So what did Pidom get, according to Ndeni that I gathered? A story about how, according to Ndeni's story, about how the president's son and some people were at New York using monies meant for a particular production in Nigeria to help alleviate a particular level of poverty at New York, where it was alleged that cocaine was even part of the things in that hotel, a very expensive hotel in New York, and there were dancers, exotic dancers there too. Are those the information that we are chasing this man all around the country for? And if that is not what it is, then the government should prove that this was wrong. That's not what it is. It's a very big indictment how the presidency and the Federal Republic of Nigeria can take this matter seriously. So seriously that they had to send men all the way from Abuja to Port Harcourt to pick Pidom. They had to send men, intelligence gathering at its highest level. They had to start the investigation to Hundeng, wherever he is in the world. Just like they did to Nnamdi Kanu, and they picked him at Kenya. So what the concern here is that the country has leaders that are very much interested in protecting their seats. They are protecting those who elected them into those seats. And if it means killing the people who put them into the seats, they would kill them. If it means letting the whole country disappear so they remain at the helm of affairs, they will do that. That's what it is implying.
Hear from Blessing.
I am so angry. I don't even know how to react to this news. This is really sad. I wonder what our activists are doing. I wonder what... I really don't know. While Francis was talking, I was just asking myself, what will this young man do? How does he get out of this case? Because if they get him, they get a hold of him, what will be done to him? Now, how can the police be so corrupt? Don't we have good men in the police force anymore? Don't we have good men who would see evil happening and speak up? It's really sad. Francis has said everything I would want to say and more, because the question I'm just asking is, what can be done? We have people who come out, they're whistleblowers or people who come out and they're practicing journalism and they're doing what they ought to do. But we have people in power, and the police are working with those people in power to make sure that the truth remains hidden. It's really sad.
Let's talk about the way that Pidom was picked.
I wouldn't want to say Nigeria is a failed state, because this is what it means. If a journalist cannot go ahead and practice go ahead to do his job without being, without watching his back all the time, then what's the need of having a country
The
that's
way the freedom was even picked.
democratic? Because we are not a democratic state.
In his hotel, picked, they said, according to the report, what the police was alleging, that the man resisted arrest, locked himself up in a room, broke his phone and flushed it, and said he has forgotten his password. But it just tells you how the Nigerian police operates. They will force you to perhaps open your phone and let them go into your privacy, invade into your privacy, and make it a norm, which is supposed to not be a norm after all. And let's talk about the fact that the man was held at the police custody, according to Hudeng, for over 2 weeks. And it's supposed to take 48 hours before you can talk about, before bail can be granted and the rest of them. And that tells you how we have many people in Nigerian prison cells today. The other day on the news, we had over 5,000, a very silly amount of Nigerians in prison without going to court. Just there, locked up there.
I just hope they have good
Just
lawyers to
locked up
fight
there.
for them, really.
So it's a very terrible case. We don't even understand where it's driving at. But if you look at the whole situation, it just shows that the Nigerian government is above the constitution and above the law.
And there's so much corruption in the police force.
If we're ever wrong about what we are saying right now, what they have to do is to just make proof of what this man has done, and let Nigerians say, oh, you should go down for it. Even Edward Snowden, that was revealing information in the US, people understood a little bit what the US were concerned about, that he was releasing information to some other countries that was putting America under risk. So it was affecting its own country. But this one is revealing information about government officials' misappropriation of funds, and that should be looked into.
Okay, so let's move on to our next trend. Hashtag Dangote was trending alongside hashtag NNPC. So petrol was actually trending because Nigerians are reacting to the new fuel price and color of Dangote's refinery fuel. And yesterday, after confirming NNPC will be exclusive buyers of Dangote products, Aliko Dangote showed the public what original unadulterated fuel and diesel should look like. And Dangote Refinery even came out and issued a statement saying that the NNPC has not commenced lifting of petrol from their refinery yet. So any news of them saying that Dangote's petrol is going to be the same price as the NNPC one is false news to Nigerians. Even article came out and even congratulating Dangote on this big milestone. And let's quickly go through some of the tweets. Someone said, I want Dangote to open filling stations, even if it's 3 per state, senatorial zones, to sell fuel so as to shake these evil marketers and NNPC. The evil they have done to us is enough. Someone else said, I don't care what you say, I'm a big fan of Dangote. A Nigeria who is solving local problems gets my respect every time. It's easy. If it's easy, go and do it. Someone else said, we don't want all this. Let him tell us if the price will be reduced. This person was commenting to when Dangote was talking about the color of the foil, why it's white. And someone else said, but why does President Tinubu doesn't want Dangote Refinery to sell PMS to dealers directly? Why NNPC only? Why would NNPC or federal government decide the price of Dangote's refinery PMS? Is this not another sabotage?
All right. Fuel matter. First of all, good to see Dangote, $20 billion, bringing out colorless fuel. That's a one-time for us. I heard that this could be used to do plastics and the rest of them. So that's business for us. I've always argued that if we can have 2 refineries in each of the geopolitical zones in the country that can give us oil like this, refined oil like this, Nigeria would prosper beyond the removal of fuel subsidy. So it's a very good thing. I don't want to go into the dynamics of colorless fuel and the rest of them because I'm not an expert in that area of petrochemical knowledge. But one thing I know is that this is very important for Nigerians, that Dangote would sell his fuel and that Nigerians would buy that fuel. It's also a concern for me that the NNPC is going to be the sole buyer of this particular fuel and then sell to the rest of Nigerians. I'm concerned about that because I'm also hearing that the presidency has already claimed that there will be deregulation of fuel so that the marketers are the ones to say the price. So I'm just confused as to how NNPC will be the sole buyer and then
sell back to us.
Yeah, sell back to us. There are many things that are conflicting. But what's most important is that Dangote and its refinery should be protected at all costs. It should be proliferated around the country because we're going through a whole lot. And I'm so eager, I'm so hungry to talk about the fuel subsidy palava that we are suffering now and the high cost of fuel in Nigeria.
Okay, I love my country. And if I had to make a choice between staying in the country and going out of the country, I would rather stay here. I love my country. But then when I see people who are just not concerned about what's happening in the country, they just want to leave, I understand them sometimes because if you look at what's happening in the country, we talked about the police and now we're talking about the petroleum industry. If you look at the country and you keep asking yourself, will things get better? Do you think things will get better? Do you think the federal government one day will just wake up and have leadership doing the right things? I keep asking myself that question. Dangote has done something that the country could not do. We have 3 refineries in this country that are not working, and they're spending billions of naira every time saying they're trying to revive these refineries, but
No avail.
to no avail. So Dangote, one man, has done something that the country cannot do. And then the NNPC and the federal government, they're trying to frustrate him. It's really sad. The federal government should let him do his business. He is here to help Nigerians, and they should let him do his business. And he has said it that if they won't patronize him, he's going to export his petroleum products. First, they came up with this allegation that his fuel is substandard. Yes. And then the reps, they had to go to his industry,
And test by
these
themselves.
refinery, and test it themselves. And they discovered that what he has is better than what is being imported into the country. So when Francis said he's not into the petroleum industry, when he said that, I know that they have gone to do the investigation. From the investigation, this fuel is the best. So they should let him do his business. The federal government and the NNPC should not try to jeopardize or to ruin this business for Nigerians.
And you know,
they
I
should
just
let
saw
him be.
an explanation about it, saying that this fuel will be better for cars, to help your cars to last longer, to help your gensets to last longer.
Just let
So
him be.
it's
I don't know if they will,
overall
but they should.
better quality.
Because all these colored fuel we are saying, they have additives added. And too much
Yes.
additives are not even good for fuel. That's the one I know. And that is the reason why I want to use the Dangote pure fuel and just enjoy ourselves in Nigeria.
I don't know. The person who said he should, build filling stations. I don't know how that will work. I don't know if they will let him. But I don't
doubt.
know. This is going to spoil their business. You know, we have the cabals that run the petroleum industry in Nigeria, and they've even there were reports. We heard of reports that the NNPC chairman Melekari has deals outside the country that he runs, and he came out to say that's not true. But I know that we have cabals who are sitting on the helms of affairs in the petroleum industry and making sure that they're feeding themselves fat while the citizens were suffering. And they keep telling you this is the reason why we were having issues in the petroleum industry. I always say this: the federal government know what it ought to do to make Nigeria better. They know what they ought to do to make sure that the petroleum industry thrives in the country. But no, they won't do that because the cabals are their friends, the cabals, they dine and they wine with them. So, but for me, they should do whatever they want to do, but let Dangote do his business in peace. And like Francis said, NNPC being the sole buyer of their petroleum products is something that we should be really worried about.
They should also
We should
try
really
to
be
regulate
worried
the
about
price
it.
after everything,
Yeah.
so that it can be fair to Nigerians.
What the
Because right now
government, what the
it's
government
1,000.
said was even understandable. They cannot regulate the prices of a marketer's product. I'm not. You should not tell me the amount I should sell the grounds when I know how much I put in production. Maybe you can give a guideline in terms of knowing what I've done in terms of production and the rest of them. But it all goes way back to the whole problem that happened on was it March when did Tinubu make that speech, his first day speech, where he removed fuel subsidy without any kind of plan whatsoever, without putting anything, any machinery in place whatsoever. He just came and removed subsidy.
These marketers
These are the
that we're
problems.
talking about now, they are talking about importing the cost of when these petroleum products are imported into the country. Dangote is here in Nigeria.
here.
So he should be allowed to sell to these marketers. The marketers take to their petrol stations and sell to us. But NNPC is saying they want to buy from Dangote and then give to the marketers.
Not
So
sell to
whatever
marketers.
price NNPC comes up with is what we will buy the petrol at. Do you understand what I'm
And
trying to say?
hopefully it's not going to be the 890 something naira that we're seeing. That's what we are hoping for.
Exactly.
But again, it all goes back to the fact that
They want to regulate everything.
Yes,
They
yes.
it
want
all,
to regulate
it all goes
everything.
back to the fact that
So
even the
like
United
they'll
States of
do
America
everything.
has subsidy on agriculture. Countries have subsidy where it should be needed.
You're not getting
And in
it.
Nigeria, I'm coming. Nigeria now, we're taking away subsidy. We're talking about this.
There's the
Dangote.
subsidy.
It's slowly going away. That's why we're having the prices getting higher. And this is not even the end. It's always going to get higher and higher every day. It's going to get 2,500 naira.
This subsidy
per
we're
person.
talking about are subsidy on imported petroleum products, isn't it?
Even the Dangote product would not be subsidized.
It will not be subsidized, but
Yes,
it's
so we're going to get.
marketers.
It's not going to affect Dangote's price. That's one thing that we've all been talking about. Dangote is going to sell fuel cheaper, and he's going to put the price, the cost of production, into the price.
But it won't be as high as
Yes,
what we
it will
have
be
it now.
attacked, yes.
Hopefully. Well,
It won't be as
only
high as
time
what we
will
have
tell.
it now.
Only time will tell because it's going to still put the cost of production, and it's not going to be easy.
Let's let
for
him sell
Nigeria.
directly to marketers. That's it.
It will be
NNPC
directly
should
The
not
same
be
marketers,
NNPC should
same
focus on
marketers that
the
we've
imported
known,
petroleum
same
products.
marketers that we've known that are aiding and abetting the whole idea of corruption in
But
fuel.
if Dangote comes out and sell to marketers, then Nigerians can now know how much the marketers are adding
Yeah,
to
adding
it.
to it.
That's
Yeah.
my
I
point.
think that
Let there be
should be a good
transparency in
approach.
the whole process.
Yeah, I agree on transparency though.
Yes, because the NNPC will not even let Dangote. It's just that when Dangote came out and he was trying to talk about so many things, and it looked as if the federal government were doing their best to shut him up. Because they wouldn't want him to spill details.
Yeah.
And clearly, it's just obvious that those at the helm of affairs of the country are into corrupt practices. Because if you say there is a cabal, there's a cartel of people involved in fuel, and somehow you cannot stop them, and you have the federal might. You cannot stop this cartel, these people that are, influencing the whole thing. That means perhaps you are part of these people.
He is part of the
Or
people.
they are even the sponsors.
He is.
I'm saying perhaps because I don't want somebody to come and
No,
condemn
they are.
me.
They are.
in the
You
studio.
cannot, if you are the president of the country, you cannot put a stop on what's going on. It means you are aware and you are letting it happen.
They're not deliberate, they're not intentional.
Oh, really?
And if really they could hold these people, somebody even said that that whole to sway a little into subsidy, because that's a problem. Somebody said even if Patotomi said even if the president back then went against those marketers who are indulging into corrupt practices in the whole subsidy concept, it should have reduced the cost of fuel by 60% at least, because they're the ones who are selling not even. Nigeria would have had a little breath of fresh air. That would have reduced the burden of subsidy on the federal government. But Nigerians now are paying for the offenses of the federal government. That's what Nigerians are paying for in terms of this subsidy removed. Because like I said earlier on, America subsidized agriculture. Countries subsidize things where necessary to boost production. In Nigeria, I've said this over and over again on Morning Ride, that Nigeria was one of the fastest growing economy in the world, fastest in Africa, from 2003 to about 2015. And it was all because, I'm just saying now, Nigeria was producing, we're doing something, but now companies are shutting down because the price of fuel, which dictates the economy of Nigeria, is higher. So the country, this is the important time for the president to look at other alternatives. I said before we came on set, I was talking to one of our cameramen here, I said even if fuel was 500,000 naira a litre, if we have a deliberate government, citizenry. Because if you can check transportation, if you can subsidize transportation, subsidize production, give electricity, the average man has taken many reasons for buying fuel away. You're in your house, you get electricity, take a bus to your workplace, just like it's done in other foreign countries. You don't need generators for light. You just have things easy, and the production and the country can bloom. But now, what we are going through is hell. Look at the reports we just heard about the Hyundai podium stuff, that where they were alleging that people at the top of the country, including the son of the president, were at New York, gyrating with monies that should have been used for Nigeria. And instead of them trying to bring out the scenario for Nigerians to see that this is wrong or right, they are trying to arrest and shut people up.
That story is. Anyway, let's just let it go.
It's so annoying. We gotta help us, Nigeria.
So,
Are you speechless?
we'll have to get speechless.
I'm lost for words.
It's really, really sad. And
All right, do you have any more trends for us?
Yeah, no, but that brings us to the end of today's X Trend. So see you guys next week.
All right, see you soon.
Remember, I'm your host and ex-girl, Tigoroje, and
Patience, if you're
Thank you so much, ex-girls.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
We're sorry we left you startled. We're just emotional about the situation.
Very.
All right, when we come back, paper review right here on Morning Ride. Stay with us.
Some say learning is fun. As a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Give your child Bonvita. It contains essential vitamins and minerals that support mental and physical vitality. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
Alright, you are watching Morning Ride on Delta Television, the People's Pride. It's time for us to look at the papers. It's time for paper review. In the house with us, great Abel John Gold. Good to have you. Welcome to Morning Ride.
Good morning, comrade. Thank you for joining us.
Alright, so I want to crave the indulgence of my presentation director that this morning we are going to look at one paper and then we talk to Comrade Abel John Gold. We'll look at one headline, we'll talk to you about the headline, you pour out your view, and we'll go to the next headline. That's how we're going to run it this morning, so we can have enough time for you to talk about situations in this country. Of course, you saw us on X Trend. We had a very strong, passionate conversation that our ex-girl got startled. I just had to stare into space. The country is getting more and more dramatic, and we'll talk about all the issues. First paper this morning, the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper has headline, Reps, NBA, PDP, others demand petrol price hike reversal. That's what the Vanguard captures it. We'll look at other papers' lesson because I know that this will be all over the front pages. So let's just reel out all the headlines as regards this. We have the New Telegraph. It says, scarcity, Lopobiri meets Shetima. Ribado promises availability of fuel this weekend.
Yeah. The Nation newspaper says, why Dangote refinery petrol is yet to hit market. And the writer, agreement on pricing templates between firm, government yet to be reached. About if it will be available or not.
This is Friday though. This is Friday though.
We're talking about the price of the petrol. But the writers, price hike shoots up cost of foodstuffs. Beans hit 200,000 naira a bag. And Lagos. Local rice goes for 140,000 naira in Kaduna. Dangote refinery to determine price October.
Aha. October we wait. The Punch newspaper this morning. NNPC ties Dangote petrol price to forex rate. The writer says NNPC begins lifting Dangote refinery petrol September 15. Vessels begin offloading queues worsen. That's what how the Punch captures it this morning.
The Nigerian Tribune has its major headline seen on the petrol issue. Petrol price hike. Nigerians lament. Forced into belt-tightening measures. The riders trek distances, abandon private cars for commercial transportation, accuse government of insensitivity, prices of items skyrocket, transport fares increase, elevate suffering of Nigerians without further delay, YCE tells Tinubu. NNA, Northern Coalition, Reps Minority Caucus want a reversal.
All right, clearly, all the papers this morning has one big headline. Fuel price hike. We'll get back to you, Comrade Abel John Gold. I don't know how you came in here today, whether you had to walk long distance or you had to use...
Abandon your car for commercial transport.
Bicycle. I don't know how you got here.
I managed to drive because I was late already.
You managed, I like it because
when I was coming out, there's a road beside me where Caribbean stays. I climbed the road, so they block my entrance.
No option.
So I now went to appeal to them to enable me come out, so that also delayed the termination.
Well, it's good to have you here, though. Now let's talk about the situation. The whole petrol price hike. Do you think Nigerians have the tenacity to control or to manage the situation? Because since we have been somehow, how do I call it now? We've been somehow managing everything, moving through the odds somehow. Do you think we can still manage the price?
Even if we can manage it, we get to an extent that we will revolt, that we can't be able to manage it again. We will not be able to swallow it again. That is exactly where we are going now. But wealth, if I must tell you this is true, the problem still lies with Dangote and even the federal government.
Dangote?
Yes. I say Dangote for reasons. Months ago or a month ago, Nigerians were clamoring NNPC supply, less than a month said, supply Dangote crude. Supply Dangote crude. We were all crying that Dangote should be giving crude. And we had all the president ordered or directed that Dangote should be supplied crude. It means Nigeria fought for Dangote. And we are having this belief that if Dangote starts working, the dispensing fare, that fair price will come cheap. Now, Nigeria, the federal government have looked at the cries of Nigeria when they were saying they were not selling fair to crude to Dangote. Dangote have produced fuel now. Now the products are ready. You now come out and tell me, look, like the market woman that sells food. I went to market, I bought a basket of garri for 3,500 naira. Cost of transportation make it 4,000 naira. Cost of preparation, gas, food, item, everything finished, makes the that portion of a bar that I'm supposed to sell for 200 naira, I will not sell it for 350 naira to make up that 400. Now I will pay for shop that I'm staying, where the shop I'm renting, the place I rented, that will make it 400 naira. And I also need again, now make that portion of a bar 500 naira. Are you getting me? So this is the amount I'm going to sell that bar for me to stay in business. Dangote should tell us that having refined this crude oil, number of times I've told you in this station that the federal government have been subsidizing our fare, that there's nowhere fare is below 1213 in this country. Now you've refined this fuel, we understood. Tell us the cost of that your fuel. If it is 800, tell us it is 800 now. It will even stop the federal government from that foggy subsidy they are paying. Tell us that the cost of fuel is 800 naira or 900 naira. And I will say to NNPC, they are going to actually go to say to NNPC because of threatening it from Lekki to Kaduna to other parts of Nigeria. I'm going to say to NNPC at 800 at 3 naira. That's the cost is 800 naira. I will prefer to NNPC 800 at 3 naira. NNPC might use 10 naira to take it to Kaduna and other place. That's what they will say. But Dangote is not telling us anything.
Okay, so you want Dangote because most of the
that's the only way to help
are
Nigeria
saying that NNPC ties Dangote petrol price to forex rates. It's like it's the federal government and NNPC that will now determine the price for his petrol. So you say Dangote should come out before they even start talking about the templates. You should tell Nigerians what
they've supplied before the present forex rate now of 1,640 and 1,680 now a dollar. They've already supplied Dangote the crude, and according to what they said, that they have about crude that was petroleum product that was survive Nigeria for 30 good days, which means we bought this one then. See, let me tell you one thing Dangote need to understand, and include the NNPC. This product now should not be for profit yet. They should not think of profit yet. They should think about the cries of the masses. Nigeria
is it Dangote to think about, not think about profit?
Including Dangote as a business will always get profit. Yeah. The federal government will be paying subsidy overseas there. Are you getting me? There's nothing wrong also pay subsidy to Dangote. The problem of subsidy is what they be telling us here is that maybe when they ask people to bring 1 million liters, the person will bring 10 million, the person will bring 1 million liters and tell us that he brought 10 million liters and that collect subsidy for 10 million liters. And even that 1 million liters we bring, they will carry 500,000 liters to over outside Nigeria. Then what do we have security men for? Tighten the borders. Let this thing not flow out. If the Dangote security refinery should not set to only NNPC. If I'm in Lekki now, why would I wait for? If I have a first station in Lekki, why should I wait for the NNPC to come and supply me? I can go to Dangote and buy equally. If Dangote can come and tell us that Indomie from his factory is 130 naira, but by the time we get to the market it's about 350, 400 naira, why can't you tell us petrol that, look, this is how much I will sell petrol. I'm going to sell it for, the cost of production is 750. I'm going to sell for 800 now because I pay workers, I pay other things. I'm going to sell 800. Dangote should tell us that we will not be able to tackle NNPC because NNPC will keep lying against Dangote and Nigeria will keep on blaming Dangote or blaming NNPC. So it is better. The problem of Nigeria is that this lack of transparency. They are not telling us the truth. That is just our problem in this country. If I'm a father now, if my children drag me, now my salary be this. Now what are the aim be this? I will live beyond just within this what I have. My wife will understand that my husband not really get to say a bill. But when you keep on pumping, acting as if all is well with you, painting and what you don't have, I will be on you. You will be able to pay more. Some people that were kidnapped because of all these things. The federal government should tell us how much they are going to subsidize Dangote, and how much should first of all tell us how much they are going to sell fuel. These are the challenges we have. Nothing else, my brother.
The federal government is saying they would practice deregulation as regards the whole fuel thing. That means marketers will be the ones to say the price.
I support that. I'm not buying. If you see, there was a time I was buying meat from North. Are you getting me? North, I would tell a friend there, buy the meat, dry it, they will bill it, I will pick it here. There was a time we were buying beans from North, buying rice from North. You just read that a bag of rice in Kaduna is 140. If a bag of rice in Kaduna can be 140, how much are you going to buy it in Asaba here? We are not buying this at the same rate. Crude oil is in Delta. Oko, we have oil, you know Oko in Delta. Yeah. You know we have crude in Oko. We have in Anambra, we have in Imo, we have in Warri, we have in Port Harcourt, we have in River. Why will I buy fuel at the same rate that the person in Kaduna will buy fuel? And the person in Kaduna will buy gold cheaper because they mine gold there. We buy rice cheaper because they have rice farm there. We buy other products cheaper than me. It means the country is not balanced.
Okay, let's...
So, still on this petrol issue, we've had so many protests. Here on the Daily Trust, this headline here says, businesses disrupted as Kwara tricycle riders protest fuel price hike. And then on the Daily Independent, Refs Minority Caucus asks federal government to reverse petrol price hike. Do you see a possibility of this happening?
Yes, I see a possibility. Let the pressure be there. But first of all, for that to come to be possible, they have to tell us how much they actually produce. You are not expecting Dangote to trade at loss. You cannot expect it to produce fuel maybe at one time.
The fuel we're talking about now, Dangote, they've not lifted its product. We're talking about what is happening in the country right now.
What's the situation right
yes.
What is happening in the country right now? Okay, Nigeria might have fuel before. If you noticed last week, I mean, was it this very week? Yes. The petrol tanker that used to park at Apapa to load fuel from the depot there to dispatch to other parts of Nigeria. They've been moving from Apapa to Lekki. As at Monday, Tuesday, they'll be moving to Lekki. I know that what is actually delayed, according to, did you listen to Shejina, Dangote, is it the Director of Communication, Shejina, yesterday? They've not lifted any oil. So what is delaying is the price agreement.
No, comrade, I'm saying what we have in circulation, do you see the federal government actually doing anything?
It's
to intervene?
807
What in the circulation cannot, because they've bought already. You cannot expect me to buy something for 900 naira and expect me to sell for 800 naira. That is why when you see that when federal government increase fuel, all the future will jack up their price. But when they reduce fuel, they will tell you we are selling old products. It's natural mentality.
Alright.
So nothing can happen there for now. We will just bear the pains. Even when they supply this evening, because they are going to start supplying this evening, this night, till tomorrow morning, they will still sell the old one first. The only people that can take that risk is people like NNPC. Because that is government too. So the risk and the gain goes to the insurance pay for it.
Okay, let's just, because our time is almost up, so we have to talk about something else apart from fuel, although that's the fueling issue right now. So this one on the New Telegraph says, arrest Wike over threat to put fire in state. That's what Clark tells IGP.
Did you also see Wike's response? Wike said,
Please tell us.
Wike said that he had never seen Shifike Clark in PDP meeting for once. But I want the federal, let's not just laugh this, please.
Yes.
The federal government or the DSS, they should invite Wike the way they have been inviting other presumed terrorists or potential causers. Because Ike Clark, somebody of 90-something years, what he raised is not an issue to just overlook at time.
Yes,
they should investigate Wike very well. You understand me? Because from his statement, you can see the venom of anger there, and he has followers. Wike is not a Belgian Goda who they talk for them. Are you getting me? This is somebody who has been governor, have been minister, became governor, been local government chairman. As a local government chairman, he has boys. As chief of staff, he has boys. Became minister, he has boys. Now became governor, has a lot of followers, and he naturally have followers. Wike can incite the public against government. Sure. So Wike should be called to order.
His principal should even call him to order first before.
Be called to order.
Okay, we have this headline.
Before it escalates.
The Vanguard says, insecurity, farmers' headers clash, depress agri-sector GDP. And then there's this headline on the Daily Trust that says, terrorists enslaving us to work on their farms, says Niger residents.
It's a fact.
And they won't eat the crops before they germinate.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's good to harvest their crops before they germinate.
That has been long.
It's okay.
I don't know what our government is doing about this terrorism, because not only fuel or bad road that is the cause of food agricultural product.
Yeah.
The insecurity in the farm is another one. Because there was a time we learned that if once you farm your product like this, they will come to you. Normal human will come to you to sell your farm to them. Totally rice farmers sell the whole farm. Maybe this you have this DBS road is your farm now. This okay, let's use this complex now. Okay, the worth of this farm is 20 million naira. They want to at nursery level they want to pay you. Then after paying you for it, they will not pay you to be nothing for them. But if you refuse to sell for them, you want to use the market price to determine your own, they will leave you, and before you know, one bandit or some either bad thing happen to your product or they even kill the person. So that's that fear now scaring people from going to farm.
Yes.
And now they will kidnap farmer, they force them to farm in their own farm.
Yes.
So it's happening all over the north. These are part of the things that are making food to be so expensive. So I don't know what the federal government is doing with taxpayers' money. The police have a helicopter. You can patronize these farms. You can do better. You can set up security outfit in these farms.
Okay. Okay, before we go, this one, WAEC NECO age limits, FG may exempt gifted children. But they talk about 18 years old to do.
I'm just so tired of this country.
Let me tell you.
Just before we say goodbye.
In this country, the law is not a Tinubu law. The law have already been there. It's implementation from our time. It is only when you did that you touch like that. Gifted children, they always accepted before. It's just that parents that want their children to look gifted at a primary 3. You want them to write primary 4, you want them to write what do you call it, primary school leave certificate. As 13 years, want the person to be in university, 14 years to be university. Otherwise, the laws have already been there. Pre-Tinubu, during the World Wars government, you must be 6 before you start primary 1. You must be 18 before you write WAEC.
Okay.
So they are not today's laws. Are you getting me? The government constantly accepted the federal government is bound to pressure from parents thinking that you allow underage to marry, but you don't allow this. Are you getting me? Without knowing who allows who.
Okay.
The laws have been there before.
I wish I had more time. We would have had a very strong debate on that. But it says 9:30. It says time to go. Thank you so much. Abel John Gold. Always incisive and how much you're detailed on these conversations. We appreciate that a lot. And that's how we say goodbye on Morning Ride. Blessed.
I wish I could give a hug to our viewer who's watching right now. I know it's a difficult and very challenging time for you, but I'll keep saying we should have hope. We should keep praying and keep hanging in there. We do hope that with time things will get better for us. Have a great weekend and take care of yourself. I am blessed. We'll see you about that.
Francis Ofulu saying, have a great weekend too. The NNPC has said there will be fuel available during the weekend. We pray it happens that way. See you later. Morning Ride is over for the week. Join us still on Just Television. We have wonderful programs outlined for you this morning. Good morning and goodbye.